Well, it's not quite the 80 degrees and sunny like we've had over the past few days, but, well, like the Grateful Dead sang, every silver lining has got a touch of gray. Hi everybody, welcome back, or if you're new, welcome in. My name's Chris, and today I'm back at the Colorado Railroad Museum because I hear they're going to be running the Galloping Goose. What a good day to go for a little ride. Why don't you come along and let's see what we can see. Yeah, this one might be a little bit more difficult because, well, I thought it would be a lot less crowded. Unfortunately, a few school buses got dropped off and, well, definitely don't want to show a bunch of other people's kids. So I am going to wander around and show you what I can. There are quite a few places without too many other people. And my ride on the Goose isn't for another hour or so. Mostly I'm here to ride the Goose today. They actually do have two of them. The one that they're running is number 7. This one's number 2. I was just talking to a gentleman who worked here. He was giving me a bit of history on the Goose number 2. Yeah, apparently it was once used to haul supplies for the Manhattan Project. Also, I absolutely love how this is put together with chains and, well, apparently a bunch of just wood in there and chicken wire. Yeah, they did make 7 of those over time. Galloping Goose 1 was cannibalized for parts. Part of it is actually in one of the geese here. They actually have 3 of them. I thought they only had 2. One of them is running today, and we are going for a ride. Yeah, they were made out of converted automobiles and kind of replaced the steam trains when the gold rush kind of dried up. As I said, I've been on the Goose number 3. That one is currently at Knott's Berry Farm in California. I think all but one are currently in operation somewhere. Oh wow. So right here you see the difference between a standard gauge and on the other side, well, you have the narrow gauge. Yeah, they never really had these chalk marks out when I've been here, so I never really knew the difference until now. That's good to know, and it's right behind me, isn't it? But as we wait for our turn to ride, what do you say we go inside and check out some of the miniatures? Okay, the miniatures themselves are a little crowded with kids. I'll show some B-roll of that towards the end. For now, this whole exhibit down here was under construction when I was here last. We gotta check it out. There is a lot of information about, well, a lot of history in here. I'm not sure I have enough time to absorb it all myself before it's time for my train ride. So I'll just show a little bit of it here. And I might just have to add a little music on top of it. Time to get ready for my ride. Time to head on. I have not been on one of these in just a little bit. And I do love how the whole thing rocks when people get on it.
The seats you're sitting in were actually inherited or purchased from the Denver Tramway when their streetcars went out of business. This originally didn't have a tourist. This is a tourist car. Originally, this was a box car. It was used to transport goods, and up front, a few people. The Rio Grande Railroad. How many know where the Rio Grande Railroad, Southern Railroad, ran? Anybody? It ran from a place called Ridgway, Colorado. How many of you know where Ridgway is? One. We got one person knows. Okay. The Rio Grande Southern Railroad was built by a guy named Otto Mears, who made his fortune building toll roads throughout the Colorado Rockies. He started the Rio Grande Southern to serve the southern San Juan Mountains. Ridgway, Colorado is directly north or south of Montrose, Colorado, which is directly south of Delta, Colorado, which is directly south of Grand Junction off of I-70. It serves the southern San Juans. It used to serve the southern San Juans, running from Ridgway up over Lizard Head Pass down to Dolores, Colorado, and then running southeast back to Durango. There were 7 of these Galloping Geese built during the Depression of the 1930s. This was the last one built, the last one and largest. They were built the cabs were built from Pierce Arrow touring cars. Until later on, they actually acquired some surplus World War II bus bodies, and so they had the bus bodies rather than having the boxcar top on the front end, anyway. 7 of them built. The number 1 was built in Ridgway early on, and it was wrecked. But the people of Ridgway decided to build a new number 1. So all 7 of them still exist and run. Only one of them's not here in Colorado. It's at Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, California. We have 3 of them here at the museum. We have number 2, which is over by the west side of the roundhouse. Number 6 is back there in the south side of the turntable. And of course number 7, which we park all over the place. The other 3 are basically Ridgway, Telluride, and Dolores, but they may not be there because they loan them out quite a bit to the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge, and the Cumbres and Cumbres and Toltec narrow gauge in southern Colorado. Any questions about the Galloping Geese, and I might be able to answer. It's got a V8 engine, and originally they had the engines that came with the touring cars, and then they had to replace those with other V8 engines, flathead engines actually, and then it's got a V8 in it now. I believe it's a V8. I'm not really sure. Here we're coming by some of the Cobb Railway artifacts. The Cobb Railway ran out of Manitou Springs up to the top of Pikes Peak, over 14,000 feet high. Those Cobb Railways, Cobb equipment can go to up grades as high as about 27%, which means for every 100 feet they go horizontally, they go up 27 feet in altitude. We're going up and down 4% grade, which is steep for any train. We just went by our library. We have the most extensive collection of historical information and artifacts for the majority of railroads that run over the last 140 years plus. There's number 6. That's one of our 3 Galloping Geese. Number 6 was used for maintenance of way. Actually, number 6 and number 7 were used to disassemble the Rio Grande Southern when it went out of business. They pulled this boxcar off, had a flat car out here, and they would stack up rails and ties and stuff, and they used this to disassemble their railroad. And then they actually leased it out to the Denver Rio Grande Western to disassemble many of their narrow gauge trains throughout the Colorado Rockies. The brick buildings are roundhouse. We have 5 stalls, and stall number 1 is, I believe, 315. They move stuff around. Stall number 2, it's an engine, doesn't operate. Stall number 2 is 491, but it does operate. It's the largest coal-fired steam engine in operation in Colorado. Stall number 4 has the Midland Terminal Car 111, which we're rebuilding the platforms and the exterior of that car, and it will eventually move up under the covered canopy next to car 96 for public display. In stall number 5, which you can't see from the visitors gallery, there's a door in the back of the roundhouse. Be sure to stop by there. You could walk into the roundhouse and see what's going on, but you can't see 191, the oldest surviving steam engine in Colorado. We're doing a cosmetic restoration of that, building a totally brand new cab for it. We built it out of oak and then we paint it. Down here is the Denver Garden Railway setup. It's one of the finest in the country. On the ground level tracks, they run electrified G-scale trains. On the elevated track there at the east end, they actually run live steam or battery-powered engines. Be sure to walk through the Union Pacific cars. So those are standard gauge cars from the 40s and 50s to show you what traveling was like in that time frame. As we come up to the depot here, or to the loading dock, you'll notice on the outside of the loop here, you'll see 5629, which is the largest steam engine in our collection. It's actually the only piece of equipment that came into the museum on rails. We actually strung rails across West 44th and pushed it over to bring it over here. And it's because it's so heavy. Everything else you see in this museum was brought in here on flatbed trucks. In fact, we recently shipped engine 20 down to the Durango and Silverton on a flatbed truck. They traveled down there on US 287, and I can imagine with people coming up north on 287 would freak out seeing this big steam engine coming at them. Also on the inside of the loop, you'll see the last surviving steam engine, the Denver Rear Grand Western 683 over here. Here's a piece of trivia for it. The modern stock car, like you're seeing there, was actually invented by a woman rancher. She used to ship her cattle to market in a boxcar, and they would lose weight. And if anybody knows anything about the cattle business, you're paid by the weight when they arrive at the slaughterhouse. So she lost a lot of money because the cattle would get dehydrated and wouldn't eat well. And so she invented the modern stock car. Okay, that completes our tour for the day. I believe, was that road number 3? Yeah, that was number 3. We take 3 loops. Did anybody have any questions? Okay, we want to thank you for riding with us today. You're riding in a piece of working history. You're welcome.
Thank you. That was a fun little ride. Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to show of that. I'll probably put some B-roll of some other stuff in and leave some of the narration, but that was very fun. Now it's time to go look around just really quick at some of the other stuff. Yeah, before I go for the day, I kind of wanted to check out the little restoration area. I'm kind of curious as to what's going on in here today. In here you see some of the cars that they're restoring. Not really too much to see today. Apparently there's one that you can't really see from in here. That's fairly historic. The guide explained it while we were riding the Goose. And this one over here is observation car number 111. And as you can see, they're restoring some of the wood on it. And, well, I can't wait to see what it looks like when it's done. Oh, wow. Take a look inside that engine real quick. I'm not sure exactly what engine that is, but yeah, there's the roundhouse board of where everything is. Okay, here's an actual look from the front of all of that. Huh. I think the one I was just looking at is 315 right here. Oh, by the way, if you do want to donate, well, here's a QR code. Yeah, supposedly they are trying to buy the land around here to expand. I think that would be awesome. Here's a look at yet another one of the engines. Actually, that might have been the one that I was looking at. It's hard to tell from outside. Just another quick look at, well, the front of these locomotives. And if anybody was wondering how they work. If anybody was curious about their schedule, here's a quick look at some of that. And it's some of the upcoming events. Also, they do occasionally bring Thomas out here, and they do a Polar Express. But now I guess it's time to start wrapping this video up. I know it was a bit shorter than usual, but that was kind of by necessity. Yeah, trying to shoot around a bunch of school groups is admittedly a little bit difficult. But I do want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that other fun YouTube stuff. Spring is rapidly approaching and, well, you better believe I'm going to be getting outdoors soon. In fact, I've been going on a few bike rides here and there. Some of the leaves are starting to come out. Some of the flowers are starting to bloom, but it's going to be a little bit longer before we get a lot more green. I hope to go on a hike fairly soon. Make sure to also click that bell notification because I have no idea when the next video is going to drop. I'm hopefully going to get a video out every week, but I can't guarantee it. Yeah, I do have a very busy work schedule this summer. Get maybe 1 or 2 days off, and I definitely need a day of rest, so I'm going to try to get a video out every week. And we'll definitely see how well that goes. And remember, the world is a tough place right now, so try to bring just a little extra kindness. Everyone can use it. And if being here with all these school kids has taught me one thing, a little bit of extra patience won't hurt either. But before I go, here's a little montage of some of the miniature trains around here. Good night, everyone.